Hi, this is Dan with QT Equipment, and today we're going to cover a custom tarp option for a Dom 3 body. We've covered a couple of different tarp options over the last couple of videos. We've covered a telescopic top, we've covered a truck hugger, and we've covered a IMT top on a Dom 1 that's got the 2x4s sewn into it and that rolls up. If you haven't seen those videos yet, you can go back and take a look. This is a custom tarp option that can be added to a stock Dom 2 or Dom 3 body, and let's take a look. This setup is on a Peterbilt 337, and if you're a Peterbilt fan, you'll notice that the cab is a little taller, you get a little more headroom, and it's also a little longer, so you've got probably a foot or so behind the driver's seat that you can keep clothes and extra stuff. It's nice to keep that warm, dry space in there. This truck has not been through cleanup yet, so it's been tested, everything works, but you'll notice that we've got a bunch of grease pencil marks and not everything is dialed in yet, so go a little easy on us. I wanted to make sure this video got done before it just got shipped out to the customer. We're going to talk about the body really quick. We're not going to get super in depth on this, but what we want to focus on is the tarp system. This body is an IMT Dom 3 Series 4 setup. This is the first Series 4 that we've done. We're going to do a video a little bit more down the line that gets into all the details of the Series 4. The body is pretty much the same. The big difference comes into the controls, the control panel in the back and the controls with the crane. 14-foot body, 60-inch high sides. The EnPak, this is the redesigned EnPak, and we've got a video on this a couple of months back. If you scroll back, you'll get a very in-depth video, a too in-depth video. It's like 35 minutes long. We've got a strobe light up there. You'll notice that we have wheel chocks that are cut in and that we've got some extra work lights. I'm going to show you inside this compartment because it's got a pretty sweet toolbox, and then we're going to get on with the main part of the video. In our main toolbox compartment, we've got an American Eagle toolbox, and you'll notice we've got a custom color on these. Mostly they come gray, but you can get pretty much any color in the rainbow. American Eagle's really good at working with you on that. They've also got a ton of different sizes. This is a 7-inch drawer on the bottom. You've got 3 5-inch drawers, and then 7 3-inch drawers. Depending on how tall you are, there's probably some really tall techs that won't have a problem getting inside and taking a look at that top drawer there, but we do have this handy car step that pops out, and we'll have a grip handle here for 3-point access that you'll be able to get up and take a look at all your special tools that you don't want anybody else touching. On the back, we've got master lock, we've got work lights, backup camera, we've got strobe lights, we've got the best vise you can buy, the Wilton 8-inch American-made vise. We've got a beat plate over there. You'll notice that we've got a riser on this crane. So most of the time when we bring these bodies in, they're 60 inches high in the front, and then we order the crane compartment to be lowered down a little bit. And that makes it easier when you're unhooking your crane. You don't have to stand on a milk crate, depending on how tall you are, to be able to do that. However, in this setup, because of the tarp situation and the customer didn't want to have to touch their tarp to rotate their crane, we had to raise the crane up just slightly to be able to make sure that the valve bank cover can clear the tarp. One of the nice things about this tarp option is that it can be added to any stock Dom 2 or Dom 3 body. With some of the other tarp options, like the roll-up tarp with the 2x4s in it, that body needs to be special ordered from IMT, and it's got to be raised compartments all the way around for that setup to work. This one we're able to take this tarp system and adapt it to whatever we got here. We have put something similar on trucks after they're built, and it works way better if we do this from the get-go before it goes to fab, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. But the tarp is secured here on the tailgate with these little bungee straps, so you got a couple of those, and then the standard twist locks for the rest of the body. We try to make these tarp options as watertight as possible. Nothing's 100%, but we try our best to make sure that there's no holes. So you'll notice that we've got a flap sewn in here that our tarp option did. The back side of this tarp will lay flat against the body, and then the front side has an angle that will hit over top of the tailgate. We can undo these little turnbuckle things here on both sides. And flip our tarp open. You'll notice this is a pretty tight fit, and that's to be able to, again, keep the water out. And you also don't want it to flap a lot in the wind because that'll beat up your tarp and it won't last as long. We've got a rail system that goes down each side of the body with pockets welded into the rails. And we've done this before bed liner so that you get a good coating all the way around, and then the tarp folds over the rail, again, to keep the water out. And then these are lightweight aluminum bows that just come out. Once we get back to the EnPak, you'll notice that the EnPak is raised up a couple of inches. We've got this EnPak on a rail system. We do that for a couple of reasons. Number one is if we're not drilling holes into your body to mount the EnPak, that's better. We have less holes, less water, less rust in the future. And then you also have a little extra room to get your hand in there to undo the turnbuckle when you're removing your tarp. We've got the tarp all the way retracted, and you'll notice that absent the bows, you've got access to the entirety of your load space. On some of the other, like the telescopic top option, that's gonna permanently cover the top third of your load space. You'll obviously be able to slide stuff in, but you won't be able to drop anything in. This should be able to take this all the way back, even just remove the tarp, put it in the cab if you need the load space. The inside, and if you remember on the truck hugger video, it did have the rails that went inside the load space. That's going to take away a little bit of the width of your load space. This has the pockets, and that's going to take away a little bit on each side, but you're not going to lose a meaningful amount of your load space with this tarp system. The advantages of closing your load space: one, you have less chance of somebody stealing your stuff. The telescopic top option is able to be locked, and that's going to be the most secure option. Any tarp option is, there's no locking mechanism for this. So basically you're keeping the eyes away from it, and somebody doesn't walk by and look and see, man, look at that floor jack. I think I will go scrap that for a couple of bucks. Keeping the eyes out: in some parts of the country, snow, leaves, debris will get inside your load space, keeps it cleaner. And the other thing is, it's a clean look. When you've got your tarp retracted, this place could be a disaster, and I know for some of you guys it is. You've got your tarp closed. It's like closing the doors on your kids' closet in their room, right? Be a total disaster in there. You close the door, the room looks clean. That's good for management. That's good for customers, any kind of inspectors that may be wandering around the job site. Keeping all that stuff closed in is definitely a benefit. Another advantage of this is that it can be added to any stock Dom 2 or Dom 3 body. If you need to carry taller things, you're going to be able to raise the back of that up. We're going to need to keep the crane side, we're going to have to keep that low so that the crane can rotate. But we've done them before with taller bows in the front if you need to raise that up a little bit. We do all this customization in-house, so if you got a different configuration in mind, we can make that happen. The actual tarp gets made by a local guy in Akron here. He does a really great job of custom fitting these tarps and making sure that they fit your load space very well. Let's be honest, the tarp is not going to last as long as the body. Any tarp system, you're talking fabric versus steel, the fabric's going to wear out. You're going to need to replace your tarp down the road, most likely. There are a couple different options for that. One, call us and we'll get our tarp guy involved and see what we can make happen that way. Or any local tarp person is going to be able to use the existing turnbuckles and make you a custom tarp that'll fit this truck. Before we close this tarp back up and send it off to the cleanup crew, give you a sneak peek at the Series 4 IMT controller. You'll notice this is black, not green, and looks a little different, has a big screen on here. One of the cool things about this setup is that it's got some technology in there that's going to read your load, how much you've got on the hook, your angle, your extension length, the tilt of the truck, and a couple other things, and that's going to be able to help you maximize the lifting capacity of the crane, amongst a couple other things. Again, we're going to do an in-depth video on the Series 4, just not right now because this truck needs to get cleaned up and get off to the customer. Let's put our tarp back together and wrap this thing up. Thanks for watching. There are 10,000 different ways to set these trucks up, and there's no one perfect setup for everybody. There's only a perfect setup for you, the individual mechanic. If you're interested in what we're building for other people around the country, you can find us on Instagram at QT Equipment, Facebook QT Equipment, or our website qtequipment.com. Work dirty, be happy. Until next time. You can find us on Instagram at QT Equipment, Facebook QT Equipment, or our website qtequipment.com. Work dirty, be happy. Until next time. Keep it.